Just look at this hose mess. Are you dealing with this too? I got a long hose, and every time you use it, it's either looking like this or you're trying to coil it up wherever you store your hose. Not fun. We've been dealing with it for years. So in this video, what we're going to do is install a hose reel that will be automatically retractable and make your life in dealing with your hose much easier, make the place neater, and it's a long time coming for me. In fact, I might install two, not on this video, I'll do one, and then I think I want to do one for the front of the house. This is the back. So let me just take you around the garage and show you what we've got, what we're dealing with, what you need, the tools, everything, and then we're going to get started. All right, we've got our new hose reel here. I'm not going to get into the manufacturer at the moment, and because I think my choice for a hose reel may change over time, and I'm going to put a link down below in the first pinned comment and also in the description where you can get what it is that I'm using here. And if for whatever reason I feel like there's a better option on the market, I'll be maintaining that, and I'll change it up. Okay, so this is a hose reel, and it is a 100-foot 5/8 inch hose. So the 5/8 is critical. You're going to want a 5/8 versus a half. You might see hose reels that are cheaper that are 1/2 inch, and you'll also see hose reels that have longer hoses because they're 1/2 inch and they're smaller in diameter and they take up less space in the wheel. However, in the reel, but you know, it's not going to carry enough water for you. Even if you like to wash the car or turn on your sprinklers, it's not enough. If you're just simply watering your plants and that's all you're doing with it, just light things, then a half is fine. If you ever think you're going to use a pressure washer on it, anything like that, you definitely have to go with 5/8. So this is a 100 foot hose, and then we've got a 6 foot piece in the back that would get attached to your spigot. And we've also have a this little thing here. It's made by Simpson Strong Tie. It's a fence post spike. I'm going to drive this down into the ground, and we've got our 4-inch by 4-inch pressure treated post, and I also have a 4-inch piece of PVC fence post that will slide right over it. If you want that look, you want to have just the wood look, that's up to you, but I'm going to go with this over the top. Okay, now the installation of these things is pretty easy. You're simply going to drive this down into the ground. You're going to select the height at which you want it. You're going to cut your post accordingly, and then this is going to get mounted up against the post. All right, now if you're mounting it and you're going to use a sleeve, you have to put the sleeve over first before you mark it and drill your holes. And then this simply goes in here, okay, like this. This goes in here, and then this goes in there too, and you drive it, push it all the way down, it locks in. I'm trying to hold the camera with one hand, but you get the idea. This pushes all the way down, and then you can take it off anytime. You just pull this right up, and you pull the hose reel right off of the the post. You can store it for the winter in your shed, whatever it is, and it's easy on and off. Okay, so let's talk about the tools you're going to need. You will need a sledgehammer to hammer that post in with a wood block on the top so you're not smashing the metal and bending it. You're going to need a level to make sure that that post is going in plumb on all sides. You will need your cordless drill and a couple of drill bits, a socket set because you're going to be driving lag bolts through the post and into that spike, and you want to have the right socket to drive them in. And then the same thing when you attach the hose reel bracket to the post at the top. So very simple tools. You should have these things. If you don't have a sledgehammer, you can borrow one. But easy to do. And we're going to get to it now. It's just starting to rain again. So let's see how much of this I get through before it starts pouring. And I might be doing this video in sections. Now, where am I placing it? Well, I had a lot of choices here. I really thought I wanted it, get rid of this thing. I really thought I wanted it out here because I didn't initially want the hose reel in the back, because I'd be kind of pulling it across the plants. I didn't want it dropping down and resting, okay? I thought about it here, but when we temporarily held it up, the thing was so big and, you know, not really eye appealing to have out here, so we did decide to put it back. I'm going to be putting it right in here. I got a lot going on. So I've got the main line coming in here, and not only does it service the spigot here, which I have it on a shutoff valve, but also the pipe goes in here to the sprinkler system. I've got a wire going to the sprinkler system, and so I think I'm going to be putting it in this section right back in here. But that said, I also have, you see this conduit coming down? All right, one of those is going under here someplace, maybe in the back, I'm not sure, to head over to that outlet. So ordinarily what I would say is most of you, we're just going to drive the spike in the ground because you'll be comfortable that you don't have anything that you could puncture or penetrate. But before I drive the spike down, I'm going to just, you know, off camera, just dig down a bit to make sure I got the right spot, and then we're going to pick up the video from there. So I pre-dug just a little bit to make sure I wasn't getting into the conduit, so we're good there. And what I did find though is the ground is very soft. There's clay, but we've had a lot of rain, and I could push the spike in probably by hand. The shovel just goes right in. So I'm a little bit concerned with the stability of the ground after the whole thing is installed and I'm pulling on the hose. I don't want that 4x4 moving. So let's see what we come up with at the end. If it moves, I'll probably have to, I'm definitely backfilling with more clay, but it's possible that I have to put maybe a little cement in there to keep it from moving. But let's move on. I'm going to get into the spike again. So this spike has got a spot on these two sides here where you can put a lag bolt, and then on this end you've got some spots for either a skinny lag bolt or a large screw, and I've got it here too. This side it's got the sticker, but we've got no penetrations here. So what I'll probably do is orient this so that way this is in the back up against the house. This is going to go right here. Okay, look at that. I'm just pushing it in by hand right now. And then that way I can, you know, bolt it and screw it on these three sides, and then that'll be it. All right, so what we want to do is we got to pound this into the ground, and I want to get the top of this at earth level, or maybe just slightly below. Earth level's fine, but that way when I slide the PVC over the 4x4, I'm not seeing this black, and it wouldn't be able to slide past the bolts anyway because it's going to be fairly tight up against here. So I want this to be below grade, and then the PVC will stop here. So what you normally do is take a 4x4 block and shave it down slightly so it's not too tight. You might be thinking you're just going to take your 4x4 or piece of it that you purchased, but if it's fitting too snug and you're hitting it with a sledgehammer, that thing's going to fray out at the bottom, and now you're not going to be able to get it back. So if you want to do that, you're going to have to shave, maybe with your chop saw, you know, 1/4 inch off of two adjacent sides. Shave a 1/4 inch off of the one you're just using to sink this, a 1/4 inch here and a 1/4 inch here, then put it in. It'll be a little bit loose. You'll be able to pound it down, but then you'll be able to get it out at the end. But you can see I'm just able to push this in, a lot of this with my hand. Now we got to make sure that we are in the right spot. I have a feeling it's tilting to the left. Let's get this level in here. Yeah, I see that. We got to go over. Here we go. All right. See that? And then we want to go this way. The other way. Okay. I want to come back this way a little bit. And we're going to be checking this as we're hammering it in or pushing it in, making sure that we're plumb on two sides, not the opposite sides here, but one side here, one side here. You can check all four. Otherwise, you're going to be leaning, and then when you stand away from your hose reel, you're going to look at it and say, damn it, it's not straight. So that's what we're going to avoid. Well, here we go. I didn't have extra length to spare on the 4x4s because I'm going to be installing two of these, and I'm probably going to use it roughly 4 feet each. So I've got two 2x4s that I sandwiched and I screwed them together, and I just checked for plumb on both sides. We're going to hit it a couple of times. We're off a little bit. We're better centered. And this one's spot on too. Just keep going. And I'm not hitting it hard. It's just really the weight of the sledge. This is still spot on. This one can go just a little bit that direction. There we go. Okay. You know, I'm gonna have to dig around this to be able to get these bolts in, right? So now that's the one issue that I made for myself. But once I get the post in, fit it loosely, I'll mark where the holes are, so that way I can, mark them with a pen or a marker, and I can pre-drill the holes, pull the thing out and pre-drill the holes. That way when I put it in, I'm not fighting with the lag bolts to actually get in there. So I'm ready here with the post. I had to sand it or shave it down a little bit on two sides because it was just not fitting well enough. It was a little tight, and I would have needed to pound it in again with the sledgehammer to get this thing into the post holder, and I felt like I was going to drive it in too far. So now this thing slips in, it's snug, and what I want to do now is mark the spot where I'm going to be drilling, pre-drilling the holes for the bolts. Okay, got my mark here and one on the other side. By the way, this stuff smells great. If you've never planted catmint in your yard, I strongly recommend it. The thing will flower all year, at least during the spring, summer, and fall, and the bees love it, which, as I'm doing this, they're buzzing around me. I'm not sure if you see them yet, but anyway, I'm going to speed up the film so you don't have to watch me do this. All right, so this is in, and it was in deep. It still moves a little bit. I probably need to maybe backfill with some clay, pound it down. May try to hit this a couple more times gently, but then I'm then going to have to I want to sleeve this with PVC first before I drill in the bracket that will hold it. So I'll have a little bit sticking up in the top, and I'll get a cap 4x4 cap. But I want to, like I said, first sleeve this with PVC. I'm going to measure, cut it, and come back and place it on here. We have pre-cut the PVC, and I've already fit it on there, make sure it fits properly, and it goes on easily. The only thing though is we have a, it's moving a little bit too much on the top. And when I go to pre-drill this, I don't want to be missing my mark, the holes. So let's get you closer. I'm gonna shim it so that way the wood is pressed up against here, the 4x4. There we go. And also want to center it this way too. So I got the same gap on here, and I've got no gap here, so that way we can drill flush into the face. Now this next part is going to be really a personal choice. Where do you want it? How high do you want it? And I'm thinking this might be it right here. And if that's the case, I don't have a tape measure on me, but I'm looking at about 8 inches from the top, at least. About 8 inches from the top is where the thing we're going to mount. When they said 8, I was talking about this spot here. About there. I guess it's a lag screw that was provided, that came with the reel. All right, that's not really tight, just to get it on there. Now we'll be able to measure, can check for level. Okay, we are on there solidly. So let's get this thing on here and see how easy it is to install onto this piece. Drop the, line up the holes, drop this in, and I say it's easy, but then maybe it's not. There we go. All right. Now we will attach the hose over to the spigot. I'll turn the water on. It's just filling up the 100-foot hose here. Okay, I just gave it a little tug and it stopped. Then I think we're just going to give it another little tug. Let's go. And it's going back. Let's check out some of its mobility. You can turn it sideways all the way. You can go this way. in that way. So you got 180 degrees. And I think I like it kind of collapsed like that too. So when you're not using it, if you're standing down here by the patio and you're looking down, it's not just this thing sticking out. Last thing I have to do is get the little 4x4 PVC cap to finish it off. And then we are done. I'm just going to try to pull it much farther this time. And then watch it collapse itself. So now I'll just give it a little pull. All right, went all the way back. So guys, what do you think? I'll let you know in a follow-up video. I'll give my review on it, but the install just was not difficult. It's just a little time consuming, but not difficult if you want to do it right. And just testing it twice, that it pulls out, stops, rolls back in on its own, that's good. And I think it's gonna be, way better for me anyway, not having this big hose coiled up. Once I clean up the tools and the mess I've made, this area is going to look much nicer. I'm going to backfill with more clay, tamp it down, maybe a brick or two. But I'll tell you what, when I was pulling it, I didn't see this thing really moving so much, so that's good. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button for me, please. If you have any questions, definitely ask me, I'll respond. And I'm going to put a link down below in the comment section. I'll pin it, and also in the description, which hose reel I'm recommending right now. So I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you next time.